Hello everyone, I welcome you to my channel LearnFit. My name is Santosh and I have about 10 years of experience in web development. I was recently taking a course on data camp and I started understanding that they are charging a hefty fee for you to learn basics of Python. I wanted to give back to the YouTube community, so I am starting this series which is Python lists. The basics, if you want to learn the basics, just let me know. I'll cover all these concepts that you see on the screen. For example, all these concepts. All right. So let's start with the first topic in the video without further ado. But before I start the video, I request you to please subscribe to the channel. Please share these videos. Kindly like the videos, share the videos, subscribe to the channel so that it helps me create more videos for you guys. Free content, right? Happy learning. Let's get started. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to open a website. This is called as programis.pro. The link should be in the description. Alright. So once you log in, register and log in, go to my instances. For example, you can see that I have created an instance called as Python Basics. Alright. So over here, this is an online editor that you can use. So as you can see, here I have already crafted an example for you, but so that you learn, I will do this again. What I do is on the left hand side on the Explorer, you see files, various files. I'll show you how to create a file. To delete a file, just click on the three dots, delete, and say yes. To create a file, click on add new file, name the file list1 dot and py. That's the Python extension. That is why we do py. Once that is done, if you want to create a list, so what is the list? Let's explain what a list is. List is a data structure. Alright. So what is a data structure? It helps you to organize and store data. Cool. Understood what a list is and what is the use of the list? Very good. Let's go ahead and start creating the list. So to create a list, then you just type the name of the list that you want to create. For example, list1, and you do the equal to operator which will assign the values. Open the square bracket, close the square bracket, and type the list values. For example, I will put 1 and 2 inside the list. So that is how you put values 1 and 2 inside the list. I want you to click on save so that you get so that the changes are saved and you get this link that you see on the top. Alright. So now I want you to click on run, and as you can see it should say code executed successfully. If everything works fine, it should say code executed successfully. Okay. So now nothing is happening, you don't see the output. That is because you are not printing anything. It did its work, the code doesn't have any issues at all. So if you want to print something to the screen, now what list one has? print and the name of the list in the parentheses you put list one. So now if you go ahead and run this code, you see the result, it printed 1 comma 2. That is great, isn't it? Wasn't that easy to create a list of integers? So over here I will say list of integers. Cool. So understood how to create a list of integers. Now let's create list of names, for example. So what do we do? On the left hand side, the name of the list. I will say the name of the list is names. I will just say customer names. Alright, customer underscore names. So that is the name of the list. And how do we create the list again? You use a square bracket. Please note, when you are specifying the integer values or float values, you don't need single or double quotes. As you can see, you directly type the numbers that you want. But because this is list of names, which is string, you need to go ahead and use single or double quotes inside the square bracket. For example, the name is Mary, the first name is Mary, followed by the comma. This is the second element. What is the second element? Let's say Mark, right? So there are two items in the list now. How do you print it? Printing process is same, print followed by the name of the list. So what is the name of the list now? Customer underscore names. Very good. Now if I click on run, you can see that it prints Mary and Mark. So there are various operations and methods on lists, right? For example, there are various methods on list. So over here, as you can see, these people have started with creating a list with different types, right? So here I am showing you two examples that you can use. For example, this is list of integers, list of strings. I will give you an assignment. Over here, I will say create a list of float values. Example 1.2, 5.5. Below this, edit the code. As you can see, I am using hash operator over here, or hash symbol. What hash symbol does is it doesn't run anything that starts with a hash, because hash is treated as a comment. It is a single line comment. Comments are not uh, processed by the compiler. Okay, so very good. Now I want you to look at the Python documentation. Let's say Python lists, and I just want you to type this, and I want you to follow the link where it says, let me show you which link you need to use. I want you to go to the Python 3 documentation, right? This is, as I taught you, what is a list? Basically, list is a data structure. As you can see, I taught you pretty well, right? List is a data structure, and here are some of the methods that you can use on the list. For example, let's start with the append method. What append does? It will add an item to the end of the list. For example, we already have a list that we have created. The name of the list is numbers. Let's modify this a little bit. I'll show you how you can error out. I'll say integer underscore list. I want you to closely observe and see the error that you get if you print something once you change the name of the list. All right, so I will click on run. It says file exec on line number 6. Line number 6 is which? On the left hand side you see that it is print list 1. Name list 1 is not defined. What does that mean? That means that the name that you are using, which is list 1, isn't there at all. You haven't defined it. So you haven't created it, but you are trying to access something which is not created. So what do? You use the name of the list, which is integer list. Did we change the code? Yes, we did change the code. So we change it over here and say integer list. So now if you run the code, it should work without any issues. So very good. So what is the first method then? I will teach you append. And what this will do, add element. We call these elements like 1 and 2 end of list. For example, it's very simple. If you want to add the number 3 to the integer list, you will say integer list dot append. Alright, and you will specify the number that you want to add, which is 3. Similarly, if you want to add something to the uh, Customer names, how would you do that? Customer names dot append, very good, and the name of the person that you want to add. I will say I will add Leah. Please note, these are case sensitive. I'll click on run and it says object has no attribute. Very good. So why is it saying that? When it says object has no attribute, it means that it's on line number 16. Uh, what is the error? It says uh, object has no attribute. So let's correct this. Let's try this and click on run, and let's decapitalize this. Basically what I did is I'm decapitalizing the name of the method. So capital A is not small a, as you can see. Now the error is gone, so I can print that. So print integers, integer underscore list, comma. Can we do this? Let's try something. Customer underscore names. Can we print two things using, can print support two arguments? That is what we are checking. So as you can see, print does support two arguments. It added the number 3 because we use the append method, and it added Leah, which is the append method again. So this is allowed in Python ways. So clear about this? Very good. So what did we learn? We learned how to uh, create a list, how to create lists with different types, how to select a valid list, right? And a lot of other things. Now, the next thing that I want to cover is I will cover extend method a little later. Let's try inserting. Insert an item at a given position. So, what is the next method then? The next method that we are learning is insert. So, insert. What it will do? Insert an item at a given position. So everything over here in Python, for example over here, this is position 0, this is position 1, this is position 2. The list is much like an array, but it has various methods that array doesn't have, right? 0, 1, 2. So suppose I want to add another name after Mary, right? And before Mark, what I can do is I can say customer names dot insert, and I will say 1 because I want it after Mary, right? And I will add the name, which is let's say Gary. All right. So once that is done, if I click on run, then it does its work. Again, you keep getting these errors. As you can see, the I is not capitalized. The I is small case. So now if you run, it added that element. How about checking it? Very good. You already know how to check this now. So what do? You just say print and customer names. Very good. So now I want you to click on save because we added a lot of things. Click on run, and now you see that Gary is there after Mary. So clear about that, guys? Very good. The next concept that I will show you is how to remove an item from the list. Let's assume that I will add a dummy value over here for, let's assume that by mistake I added something, a float value. Let's assume that I added a float value called as 4.4 to the list. I will just say list.append 4.4, and then I will say integer list.remove uh, uh, want you to print this now after that. So integer list, and then I want to call the method which is remove, and I want to remove 4.4, right? And then print the value of the list again, so that you understand how this works. So as you can see, I click on run, and as you can see, when you do list dot append, it adds it at the end, right? I want you to observe that. Then I call the method which is remove, and I specify the value that I want to remove. I want to remove the value which was added by mistake, which is a float value. As you can see, it has an integer part to it, it has a decimal part to it, and I wanted to remove that value, so I removed it. So what is the method, guys? The method is remove. Remove the first item from the list whose value is equal to x. Very good. So if that value is not there, what will happen? You might be thinking, right? Let's give it a try. For example, over here, let's try removing integers list uh, 4.444, right? It will give you an error, guys. So as you can see, it gave you an error here. Just a minute, please. Sorry about that. It will give you an error. As you can see on the line number 30, you have an error. List object is not callable. You are not allowed to do that, right? Yeah, that's a different error. That's my mistake. I will say remove over here before I explain this. So now it says, very good. Look at this error. It says value error. What is the type of error? It is relevant to a value that you are trying to delete. What you are trying to delete or remove? You are trying to delete 4.444. But does 4.444 exist in the list? No, it isn't there. Why it isn't there? Because you don't have the element called as 4.444 inside the list, which is called as integers list or integer list. Very good. So to uh, avoid these errors, what we do is we use conditional statements. Okay, if the value is found, only then remove it. Cool. Okay, good. Now I will wind the video up in a few minutes. So the next operation is pop. What it does, it removes the item at a given position in the list and return it. Okay, so the previous one was remove. Okay, so this element is remove the item at a given position. So let's say integer list dot pop, and I will just say 0 over here, guys. So as you can see, currently the integer list has 1 2 3, but if I do integer dot pop and I say 0, which is the index, or what it will do is it will remove the element at that particular index. So as you can see, the 1 is deleted and we get the output which is 2 3. Very good. The next thing is list.clear. I'll do this at the last. So we'll look at count, return the number of items X appears in the list. For example, I want to look at uh, how many times a particular value. For example, let's say 2, right? How many times 2 appears in the list, right? So I will say print, and look at this. I will do this in a different format. For example, let's say the well, I'll cover this a little later, but I will just say print and 2, and print, and I want to give it the additional parameter which is integer list. Where should it operate? What should it print? Look at this format, integer list dot uh, what is the method that we are trying to learn? We are trying to learn count, right? So integer dot count. What are we trying to count? The number 2 and its occurrence. and it should say 1 because it appears one time. So as you can see, it says 1. So how about giving it number 3? It will say 1 again. Why? Because 3 is only there one time, right? Very good. uh, that is count, guys. Okay, count. The next method is reversing the list and sorting the list. Let's quickly do this. So how do we reverse the list? So let's say reverse list. Now as you can see, it says 2 3 there. What if I wanted the opposite of 2 3? I will just say integer list over here dot reverse, and what I want to reverse is just that. Okay, so uh, over here you'll just put that. Okay, and click on run, and it says none over there. Why is that? Let's see if we made any errors. uh, okay, first let's try this. So what I want to do, I want to reverse the integer list. So I say run. Then what I want to do, I want to print the integer list. Print integer list. Now as you can see, it worked. It is 2 3 over here. Here it is 3 2. Very good. So you learned how to reverse the list. Now the last one is how to sort it then. Okay. So sort items in list tree. Okay, and it will give you the sorted list code. So how do we do this? So sort the items of list in place. So you just say integer list. Now by using the sort, right, what it will do is uh, it will sort by 2 3. Okay, so it will give you the result which is hopefully 2 3 because it is in ascending order. So as you can see, it gave us 2 3. So very good, very good. Did you understand the concepts? So I want you to click on save. You can use my playground to play around and learn different things over here. I will delete the unnecessary files over here. For example, I don't need the CSV format over here because we are not working with CSV. I will just click on save, and I will post the link for you guys so that you can use this. Please share the videos with your friends. And today I was able to teach you all these things. For example, you can do a few other things over here. For example, we looked at manipulating lists topic. We looked at replacing list elements. We looked at deleting list elements. We looked at select the valid list. We will look at that, but we will look at a few other things that we want to do with the list. So this will be your starting point, guys. So save this. There is a link in the description to learn this. So always use list1.py for the basics. So this would be like class 1. I will say on the top over here, I will say class 1. I will just say lecture 1. Okay, so lecture 1 is here, and I will also post the video link so that you guys remember where to find this. So I will click on save. So very good, guys. You can go ahead and practice what you have learned with the list, and you can, I will also include the documentation for this so that you can learn more. So We are using Python 3. If you just see official documentation, official docs are over here if you want. So I created this with care so that you learn, right? And these are absolutely for free, guys. Please share these videos with your friends and ask them to share them and post them on Facebook. I want you to paste these on Twitter. I want you to paste these on Pinterest. So absolutely free, as you can see. And happy learning. If you want to know a particular concept about a list, please let me know so that I can teach you. All right. So very good. Take care. Thank you for your time.